So just taking a quick look at Verasity today then, on the daily time frame, you can see not much has occurred over the past few days. Just continuing to have a little bit of a sell-off and a retrace again. We did see the Bitcoin ETF getting approved last week, which did see Verasity having a little bit of a bounce off of that 0.23 Fibonacci at around 0.5% there, as we've been talking about before. But you can see we came up into that previous area of support as resistance and got rejected. And with Bitcoin rolling over and having a little correction from around 49k to 42k, you can see that Verasity here has come down in suit, now just sitting inside this area of structure that we were in before. You can see on the hourly time frame in this local area pretty much exactly what happened. We did see last week some of that, potential FUD and nonsense in the market about the Bitcoin ETF being rejected, basically causing a big sell-off in the market to come down to support here. We touch support, we get that big bounce up, but then we trickle the way down to retest this low. We come down to the 0.23 here and get the bounce, come down and back test into this area again and get a bounce again. And then you can see, obviously, as I said, with news of the ETF being approved, we did see a nice little bounce up here, as we can see here, and then basically come back down like this. And essentially right now we are chopping sideways in this local area, as you can quite clearly tell. We have just been, putting in a little bit of consolidation after, basically quite a lot of volatility with Bitcoin, but over the weekend really not much movement at all for Bitcoin, as you can see here on the daily time frame. We basically had a few days of just essentially chopping around at this support area, I would say. On the hourly time frame, you can see it quite clearly on the Bitcoin chart. I've just come down back down into this bottom area here, as you can see, basically looking for that bounce twice in this local area here like that, and now looking like we are essentially just going sideways in this local area, as you can see. Really not that much going on in terms of volatility for Bitcoin. Obviously that big sell-off that we did see on Friday, but this was probably expected for me. And then since then we've just really been chopping around at this support here. Came down to test the low again, but got a bounce again in this local area. It remains to be seen whether or not we'll see a continued sell-off for Bitcoin, but as you can see on my chart, it is possible we could see ourselves coming back down into this area here below 40k, depending on what happens with Bitcoin. But right now Verasity just following what Bitcoin's doing as always. It's going to be fine long term, but short term we are less inclined to know what's happening. Obviously we could see a sell-off in the market, which could lead Verasity down into this area here before getting a bounce. But I do think that we are, we're very, very close to the bull market now, and the exciting times are close at hand in my opinion. So